What's up, y'all? Welcome back to Dolphins Daily, your daily dose of Dolphins content with your boy Chris Kane. Let's talk about the Dolphins. Well, listen, I always come on here when I say something that I think is right, and then it turns out right. I just want my propers. I said from the preseason, whenever Darren Waller plays, he's going to be on the snap count. I think he's going to be restricted in plays and minutes and all that stuff. And everybody's been telling me, nah, he's going to be good. He's going to play. Don't worry about it. He's slated to play Sunday for the first time all year against the Jets. And what they said today was Darren will be on a snap count. It will be situational, and don't expect to see him to make him like a giant impact on the game. And I said, oh, that's crazy. That sounds real familiar. Like almost a month and a half ago, someone said, this isn't going to come back and just be that dude. Apparently, he's still getting in shape, which I think is okay. That's the thing. I know he's getting back from injury with the hip. I never expected him to come in and go crazy. I also didn't think they would just tell you straight up, yeah, if we're in the red zone or if it's like 3rd and 3 and we want a quick reception, it's very situational. We're gonna just have a couple packages plays here and there for him. I don't know what the plan like rolling out is. I assume the plan is for him to be the number one tight end at some point. But if he's only going to be on the snap count and playing 20, 25 snaps a game, then he's not our number one tight end. That's not that's not how tight ends work. You run 60, 70, 80 plays on offense depending on how you do your drives. Given how many 3-and-outs we have, let's say 55, 60 at a reasonable clip. If he plays 15 to 20 plays, he's not even in on half the snaps. So I guess he's our number two tight end. Like I don't know what we do. Like is it just if he gets healthy, he plays more, or is he going to be on the snap count a year? I feel like I'm looking at a football version of Kawhi Leonard, which that's somewhat blasphemous because Kawhi is a Hall of Famer, soon to be a multiple time champion. I get it, but the idea that when you sign him, you know you're not getting the full season, period, and you hope that when you do have him play, he plays great. We're hoping to get the Raiders version of Darren Waller in the short time we have. But back then, he was the number one tight end. He played a lot more minutes, a lot more plays. If he's getting 20 plays on the field, I assume the defense is going to key in on him. Because why would they bring him in to not be one of the primary targets? If you're not playing all game and it's like 3rd and 4, and it's like, hey, checking into the game, 6'5" tight end, it's like, that guy could be getting the ball. And if they think that, they're going to key in on it. So he's going to come in the game, run a route, maybe get bracketed, maybe get, jammed at the line, safety over the top. And then he just trots back to the sideline like, hey, that's tight end one rep right there, baby. Like it's it's a little confusing. I don't know what the rollout's supposed to be down the line. I would hope that he can play, 60, 70% of the snaps down the line. But given he has a hip issue, I'm not even sure how he's going to react to being hit. We just know he has a hip issue. We don't know, like, can that hip take trauma? If he goes across the middle, elongates that body, he's not going to get hit in the head because that's a penalty. And if he's, jumping up in a safety or a cornerback, they're going to hit him trunk and below. So it's totally possible he catches the ball, someone dives at his hip, wraps his legs, which is how you tackle somebody, shoulder pad to the hip with someone with a hip injury. Like, how many of those is he going to take where he's like, I'm good to go? His hip is hurt without being touched. I I don't know. I don't know. I'm a little suspicious of it. I'm happy to see him on the field. I hope he looks agile and fast and, like he can be somebody down the line. If he looks gimpy and slow footed out there, my expectations will drop accordingly. Now, I did a quick little rundown of how our rookies have been playing, and we talked about Jonah has just not been good recently at guard. Rated as the lowest rated guard, 9 pressures allowed, giving up sacks, just not playing well. So some of you, like me, are wondering maybe he's playing out of position. We know he's going to be guard. We're not trying to move him to tackle. And I think Patrick Paul's doing a solid job right now. We know who the right tackle is. He's just hurt right now. So the question is like, should he just move to the right side? Because right now he's playing left guard. And when he first got drafted, the question was, which side is he going to play? Because he's played all four like guard and tackle positions in college. So theoretically, we can kind of move him where we wanted to go. I know James wanted to be on the right side, and so maybe to make him happy, we were like, you can stay there. But Jonah said, I've been prepping for the left side. I played the left side last year. I want to be on the left side, but the left side's not working. So the question is, do you switch him to the right side because the left side's not working? This is what Coach McDaniel says. He says, I think he feels most comfortable where he's at right now in our offense. If things were if there were things that were happening to him that I thought would be alleviated by playing on the right, I would absolutely do that. Both his good plays and his bad plays, at this point, the way he's really gone all in, we haven't measured it as a side issue. So that's telling me that they just think he's not playing well. It's like, hey, we don't think he'll be better on the right side. He's not recognizing like what they're doing on defense. He's not seeing the stunts. He's not down in his stance. Now he's not anchored enough, so he's getting pushed back. He's slow out of his stance. Whatever he's doing, they're like, hey, he's playing bad, but he won't play good doing those things on the right side too. Fair enough. Because basically last year he played mostly left guard, I'm fine with him just feeling comfortable with the moves of playing left guard. I would like him to play better, but I don't think flip flopping him right now is going to help because now how you open up is like the opposite side. Where you put your hands is probably a little different. I think most pass rushers, like the best pass rushers I see, I feel like are usually on the left side of the line. So it's like on the right side of the line, like stage right, left if you're on their side. So I don't know. It may just be a thing where he's got to just get his stripes. Like he's just taking L's right now because he's young and he's not really experienced yet. It could be that simple. I'm not opposed to down the line if we're 7, 8 games in and this is still happening because James can play the left side too. Like they could switch. I'm not opposed to seeing like for a game. Hey, let's just see how you look on the right side. Like let's just see because maybe it's something about him playing next to Patrick Paul that's part of the issue. Not blaming Paul. I'm just saying Patrick hasn't been our left tackle until right now, and maybe he's doing things because the guard and the tackle play in conjunction with each other, right? So maybe something Patrick's doing is leaving him like maybe Patrick opens up too much. So now the person that's rushing Jonah is getting too many right. He's making too many options. He can go over his left side, right side, whatever. Um, Maybe they're tipping their stances. Like there could be a lot of little things on the line. The line is a unit, and when it's not a unit and there's flaws in it, things go sideways. I just got done watching the Ravens game, and the right side of their line is awful. Both of them, guard and tackle, and it's like they can't do anything on that side because those guys aren't synced. Left side, center to the left side, good. Right side, bad. So doesn't matter if you have like all pros in certain positions and great quarterback play. When you're not good on the line, one or two guys can make the whole thing fall apart. Again, once our O line is not whole, we know that guys are hurt. I don't want to really judge Jonah until we get the full line, because then if it's like, yo, your tackles are doing a great job, Brewers crushing in the middle, but Jonah's still messing up, then we can have a better conversation. I think right now it's premature, but it's good to know that the coach is not like panicking. We're not trying to switch him around. We're not trying to bench him. You just got to play better. So the way the Dolphin season breaks down, the next 2 games are super important, right? We're on 3 right now. I would say the next 3 games, but week 5, yeah, or week 6, we play the Chargers, who arguably maybe Pro Football Focus one or two best team in the league right now. So that's a tough matchup. Although we beat the Chargers last year, this iteration of them seems to be harder to beat. So we'll get to the Charger game when we get to the Charger game. But the next 2 games are the Jets and the Carolina Panthers. 2 very much winnable games. I don't think I like Carolina just like Bryce Young, but Carolina obviously is not a good team. They're young, offensive line is not great, defense gives up a lot. I think Bryce has some intangibles. Tet is a young rookie, so we'll see what he can do. I think Chuba is actually a pretty solid running back, but probably a running back too, more likely than not. Carolina, we should be able to beat. The Jets are a divisional game. Now, I think Tyrod's going to play again on Sunday. I haven't heard any updates on Justin Fields out of concussion protocol yet, but he has all week to clear it. So we'll see. If it's Fields, there's a lot more running options to worry about. However, off of a concussion, I don't think you would see him run that much if he did. I actually, if that's the case, kind of want to see Fields more because he normally scares me because he can run so much. But if he's fresh off a concussion, I don't think he's going to run that much because you don't get hit again. You just got back from a concussion. Tyrod can run, or Tyrod can run, but chooses to stay in the pocket. He's much more likely to be in the pocket, move a little bit, and make throws. So, given that our secondary has been porous, I don't want to see him play as often. I think he can make more reads. I'm terrified of Garrett Wilson in this game. Terrified. I don't think we have a single matchup that feels good. He's going to have to be double. Luckily, I don't think their second and third receivers are particularly great. Garrett Wilson is objectively awesome. And if he got enough targets like Jamar and those guys do, I think he will put up similar stats. He seems to just be kind of a game breaker on a team that has not been good at offense at any point of his life. That's fine. These are two games you have to win. Period. You got to win both games. Got to beat the Jets. Got to beat the Panthers. No excuses. Because then you play the Chargers. You got to win these two games. You go 2-3, and then we see what happens in the Chargers game, right? If we lose that game, you're 2-4, fine. But the two games after that, Cleveland and Atlanta, which means that theoretically you could be 2-4 and then play Cleveland, Atlanta, 4-4, go on to Baltimore. That's if we get to that 4-4 part, we're okay. Not great. You'll probably be out of the playoff hunt, but you can start saying, okay, there's a pathway to make the playoffs. We got to go 6-3 the rest of the way. That's easy math. We can do that. Or we can do that. But we'll see. But that's the math of that. You cannot lose either of these games. Because now you're talking 1-5 going into the Baltimore Commanders, Buffalo. You don't want to be in that situation. You have to win the games that you need to win on your schedule. I thought one of those games was the Colts. Evidently, the Colts are actually a good team. Okay, now I take back my Colts slander. Indiana Jones, apologies. The Patriots game we should have won. I don't care what anybody says. We should win that game. But if you win the next two, you start building morale a little bit. I think the Chargers are better than the Dolphins right now, sure. The way the Chargers play, I don't think they're not going to blow us out. They just execute better. They got a good O-line, good D-line. Khalil Mack is out right now, which helps on the D-line. But Derwin James is great in the secondary. We'll get to that down the line. You got to win these next two games. And then we could talk about ceilings and can we get an upset against a team like we kind of got lucky. Cincinnati has their quarterback out. We played them later in the year. We'll see. Like Pittsburgh, I think is very much beatable just because of how they play. Like teams that look like it might be a tough win. Now, who knows? Who knows? But you got to get these first two wins because otherwise, the season's over before we even get to Halloween, and that's rough. I'm gonna jump into the comments, and this guy hit me up on Twitter today, X, whatever. I like calling it Twitter. He asked me, "What are your keys to the game on Sunday?" I think if you watch the ESPN or whatever, they're gonna of course bring up Tua. They're gonna bring up a bunch of other stuff. I think it's actually a little bit more simple than that. I think we need to not make mistakes and force turnovers for the Jets. No matter who the Jets quarterback is, they like turning the ball over. They like making mistakes. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's the green uniform. Maybe it's the fact that they play in New Jersey and not New York. I don't know what it is. But there's turnovers to be had. There are mistakes that will be made. I saw a lot of games this weekend lost because of mistakes. I don't think the better team won in at least 4 or 5 of these matchups where I'm like, I think that's the better team lost. I think the better team lost because they kept making mistakes. We've lost games because we made mistakes. Could we have beaten Buffalo? It would have been a tall order. Let's say we score that touchdown where Tua throws a pick. Now Josh has the ball with a few minutes to go to win the game. Can our defense get off the field? Who knows? I mean, I would say it's unlikely given how our defense plays, but who knows? You might get a holding call on the first down. Now it's 1st and 20. Now you get momentum. Maybe it's a tip pass or a receiver drops the ball. Now it's 2nd and 20, 3rd and 20. You might get the ball back and go in the game. Like anything can happen. Offensive pass interference, holding calls, all that stuff happens. Tip passes. So is it possible? Sure. But when you make a mistake that late in the game, you sink yourself. Patriots game, same thing. You sink yourself. I think the cleaner team that plays on Sunday will win. I don't think either of these teams is that much better than the other team. I think, if anything, we are the same team in different ways. right? They have less off. I mean, maybe Bryce and Brees and Garrett are awesome. I don't think they have a receiving core like we do. I think they're more equipped to run the ball. I think we have a better quarterback than they have. I think their front four is better than our front four, and their back four are really good. They're better overall in defense. But Queenan is their main like pass rusher, but he's interior. I think like if you can mix and match, these teams can end up with exactly the same record, and they can almost beat anybody and can also lose anybody. We're effectively the same team. Whoever plays the cleaner game, like we're both going to get to the red zone at some point. Who scores the most touchdowns versus who kicks field goals? Who fumbles the ball on special teams? Who doesn't? Which quarterback can play clean in the fourth quarter? This to me feels like a 23-20 kind of game. And I'm super early on predictions, but this feels like a field goal type game. And it's going to come down to basically who has timeouts late in the game, meaning who managed the game better. We know Miami is notoriously bad at managing games. Who manages the game better? Who gets the ball at the end? Who can make one or two plays? And who can avoid making those one or two mistakes? I think that's what's going to determine the game. If we do the same thing we've done in the last couple of weeks, then we're probably going to lose. Late game pick, late game penalty, bad clock management. You do that, you're not going to win. Even against bad teams. Even against bad teams. I'm convinced Green Bay is a lot better than Cleveland. I keep bringing it up because I've watched this game like, what am I looking at? But that's what happens. Carolina almost came back and won last week, down like 17 points in the fourth quarter. Like, what is this? Like, when you just let teams keep hanging in there, they can win it. Anything can happen. So if we played a cleaner game, I think we learned something from the Buffalo game about like what we can do. The Jets will be tough to run on because you got to push around their interior front. But I think it's easier to run on them than to pass on them. If we can establish a run, limit the mistakes to basically none, and force a turnover, maybe two, because we haven't really been getting turnovers. Just win a turnover margin, play it clean. I think we get the win. But as always, guys, thank you for tuning in to Dolphins Daily. We appreciate the love and support. Thank y'all for the likes and the subscribes. We'll see you next time on Dolphins Daily. Peace.